What is up, everybody? Welcome. It is Duct Tape Dynasty. I am the Duct Tape Dude.
I'm the dude.
And tonight I'm going to be joined by Duct Tape Dave. We're going to do a NHL Stanley Cup. Let's see, post-game recap, pre-game preview thing, whatever. You get it. Anyway, low-key, yeah, whatever. Low-key. It's easy. Laid back. That's the word I'm looking for. Just trying to do let's talk about it, right? Let's get the hockey expert out here. Let's get Dave out here. But before we do us a favor. Minimize that screen. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Please, regardless if you've hit subscribe or not, hit that like button. Throw a comment in there. I see Walbert is already in the comments. Howdy, Walbert. Let's bring on the kid. Let's bring on the animal. Let's bring on Dave. What is up, brother? How are you?
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's up?
The animal, man. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. He used to have it on the back of his jersey, old number 9, the animal. I was wondering, actually, when we had the duct tape jerseys made, if you were going to put animal on the back of yours. I was wondering if I should put you in as animal for our special delivery, which is to be announced. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. I don't want to count our chickens before they're hatched. You know what's going on, but in the words of McAfee, it's up to something season. We're working on something on the background, so we shall see how that goes. Anyway, brother, what's going on? You work today? What's up?
Oh, yeah. Worked the yard today. Just mow the lawn, family chores.
Attaboy. Did you have to work train stuff at all today?
Oh, yeah. Yep, did train. Worked in the yard.
So when you say worked in the yard, you're not talking like you mowed the lawn. You're talking you worked in the train yard.
I did both today.
Okay, so you got the full gamut. Anyway, he's a hardworking man. Hey, we had a Stanley Cup Game 1, yesterday? Game 2 coming up tomorrow. What'd you think of Game 1? The score, 5-3 Vegas, which I was happy to see. Or excuse me, 5-2. Yeah, that's right. 5-2 Vegas, which made me happy, but it was more like a 5-3 or 5-4 game. It felt like to me, it just felt a lot closer than that score, at least the stat line at the end of the game shows. What do you think? What did you think of Game 1? How'd the boys do? How do we feel? Is this a sweep coming? Are we looking at 7 games? What's going on? What's your prediction? What do you feel?
Definitely not a sweep. This series is far from over. Don't get me wrong. I'm going for Vegas. I want Vegas to win.
Couldn't tell.
But don't count Florida out. Florida outshot them all game till the third period. So I don't think Florida's out of this. I think we're going to see some fighting them. But if you're a Vegas fan, that's a statement game for you right there. I know you and I touched base on this our last podcast about the fresh legs. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what, that first period, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a great game. And then Vegas had the fresh legs. Florida looked just beat in my eyes.
Yeah.
Game-wise,
they were flat.
Turnovers left and right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens from here on out.
It is. It was the old, as we put it, the fresh legs versus we got the, good Lord, man, I am not ready to do a show. Fresh legs versus the momentum, right? That's what we were talking about. So the fresh legs didn't, like you said, it looked like it was going to work out, but I think our old goaltender, that's the difference. I mean, the boy was not standing on his head, but it's almost standing on his head. I mean, he was doing good.
I'll tell you about it. You want to talk about goaltenders standing on their head. Even though Florida lost that game, if Bobrovsky was not in net, it's 7-8-2.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky made some ridiculous saves. Aiden Hill, he's not my favorite goalie, but he's big. So I think his saves come he makes it look easy, but I don't feel
Takes up
like
a lot of room.
he had the one good stick save where they came back open net and he got up the stick. I'll give him that. Um, and then they got on a breakaway, shorthanded breakaway. You're in the cup, man. You got to bury that, shorthanded or not. You get on a breakaway, you got to put that buddy home.
Well, anyway, yeah, I think it all came down to goaltending because I tell you what, the story of the legs, the story out on the ice between, and see, I don't know all the terminology. Although I'm the big screen on this thing, I'm not the official host of this show, but the story in between the goals looked a lot different. I mean, the story of the legs and the freshness, like we talked about, it seemed like Florida was a lot hotter out there. But Vegas just was able to put it in the net. That's at the end of the day. Like you said, they got outshot, right? I mean, I don't know what the official...
They ended up being 35-35 shots on goal. So
was it?
They ended up tying them up.
Yeah, that's right. No. Bobrovsky had 33 shots against. So Vegas only shot 33, and then you had Hill was 35. So a difference of 2. But yeah, anyway, you get it.
Yeah.
Essentially the same. So yeah. So we've got game 2 coming up tomorrow night. Now we are in Florida. What's the format for the Stanley Cup? What do they do? Is it 1-1-1? I mean, what do they do?
No, it's 2-2-1-1-1.
Oh, okay.
So Florida is game 3 and 4 will be in Florida.
Okay, so they're back in Vegas. What are you predicting for game 2? Is it going to be another statement game, or is Florida going to come back and maybe split it?
Well, I'll tell you right now, for Vegas, they need to make it a statement game. Vegas needs to keep their foot on the gas pedal, not let up, not get comfortable. They need to just everything they can put it on net, which I think we've all seen how to score on Sergei Bobrovsky. 2 of those goals, he was screened, couldn't see nothing. They got to get Stoney. They got to get all them big boys in front of him to where he can't see, take his vision away. I think that is the key to score on Sergei Bobrovsky. Because if he sees the puck, he's stopping it, hands down.
The dude's a machine back there.
Unreal. So, which is crazy. Like, I've always liked Bobrovsky, but something about this season, he just picked it up. And the crazy thing is, he didn't even start the playoffs. He was not the starter in the playoffs. He was benched the whole first round almost. They brought him in, I think, game 4, and he took the crease back over, and boy, is he doing a swell job. So I think for Vegas, they need to get out in front of the net. They need to screen him and take his vision away, and they'll keep making statement games here. But on the other hand, I think Florida's going to come out and be like, all right, we had our rest days. We got our game legs back. Let's get this going. I'm not counting Florida out at all. Matthew Tkachuk, unreal player. At the end there, they're throwing out all them 10s and kicking guys out, and it's you can call Matthew Tkachuk a kind of a nuisance, but I love the way he plays because he wants to get inside their heads, and that's exactly what he did at the end of the game. He wants to get inside Vegas' head, and if he succeeds, that's when Florida succeeds. So,
okay,
I think we're gonna see a little bit more griminess out of Tkachuk, but then again, they're watching him now already for his little act at the end of the game. There, they're looking for him. So
they got a little sporty there. So I was kind of surprised. Now, again, admittedly, I'm not the hockey guy, and I'm not the hockey guy I used to be, but. I think actually one of the products of this channel and doing this whole thing is I'm going to start getting back into hockey, which I like because I miss it. So I'm not all that knowledgeable on what all I can say about it, but I did not expect the boys to be as chippy as they were. I mean, was that forecast? Are these kind of a couple? I mean, they were getting after each other. There were some There's some cheap shots thrown. It was pretty sweet to watch. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I mean, forecasted or not, they're playing for the greatest trophy in the world, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
I would be 100% the same way. I would do anything and everything I could to hoist that cup. So them doing that, it was weird because actually the beginning of the game wasn't chippy at all.
No.
It was back and forth, and then there was just the guy stopped in front of the net. There was really nothing crazy that went on, and then all of a sudden it exploded. You got Aiden Hill, the goalie, punching people in the
Yes.
face with his glove and his blocker, and I'm just waiting to hear the of Sergei Bobrovsky skating down the ice. I'm like, here we go, goalie fight, baby. But,
Is it gonna happen? I wonder if it's gonna happen. How sweet would that be? Yeah, I know.
and Bobrovsky, Aiden Hill's like 6'5" or something. He's a monster. I would be like, nah, I'm good.
That dude. Bobrovsky, I mean, the amount of, oh my gosh, he's a pole out there, man.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
imagine if he was as big? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there,
I don't know how tall he is, but I mean, the weight difference he's got to be giving up
Dude.
60 pounds.
dude, the guy is not wide. Let's put it that way. I mean, he's wearing, I'd love to know what size, shirt and stuff that guy wears, like out on the street. I'm seeing like medium. Like,
Well, if that,
yeah, like that dude. Anyway, I'm sure we can look it up. It's got to be out there. But the dude has been lights out. He is fun to watch. Although 5 got by him, but like I said, it was, man, I didn't see it that way. So what do you think? Is it going to go back to Florida? Are we going to go back 2-0? Is it going to go back 1-1? What are we looking at?
I think it's going to go back 1-1. I think Florida's going to come out and they got smacked around and realized, oh crap, here we go. I mean, you're going against a team that took out the Boston Bruins, best record in the regular season, against Vegas, who took out the defending Stanley Cup champions. But I think Colorado didn't look nearly as
No.
good as they should have, or as Boston did. So Florida taking out Boston and sweeping Carolina in 4. Florida's got the fight in them. I think they realized, hey, we're in the series now. This is a show. Let's go. I think it's going to go back 1-1.
Now, I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to say that Vegas actually kind of got woke up by it. I know they came out and they had the quote unquote, as the scroll says, the convincing victory, 5-2 victory. But like I said, man, just on the skates, it seemed like it was just a different story. And that, I mean, hey, like I said, I'm not a hockey guy. I played roller hockey once upon a time for like 2 years, right? Thought I was cool. That's it. That's
you had
the
a
extent.
hockey wall.
I had, yeah. Anyway.
You had the hockey wall, broken twigs, and
No, man,
snap
it was
pucks.
so much fun. I miss it. I wish, oh, man. I love the game. Absolutely loved rolling around out there and causing trouble. Had a bunch of fun. Anyway, so from my uneducated, unsophisticated, at least when it comes to hockey mind, what I saw between the, as I'll say, between the posts, although it's not between the posts, I'm saying you get it. On the ice, not the goalie play. Everything but the goalies. It just seemed like Florida was a lot fresher. And I think Vegas, even though they won 5-2, wow, long story to get to a short answer. I think they went, wait a second, boys. These guys are fresh. They're going to come out hot. And I think they're going to be expecting them here in game 2. So I think Vegas is going to come out and really go hard. I think it's going to be a close game. I think we might get one of our overtime games, which, again, we've mentioned it several times in our couple shows we've had about the NHL and the playoffs. This has been so many overtimes. We've got to look that up. It's got to be a record. Yeah. I think my prediction is it's going to be close, possibly go into overtime. I'd love to see that. But I think Vegas is going to come out ahead. It's going to go back 2-0. The real story is going to be, and I expect Florida is going to absolutely come back game 3 and put it in Vegas's, punch them in the mouth, so to speak. So, I mean, if we want to go further in the predictions, so I'm saying it's going back to Florida 2-0. Then Florida's going to absolutely punch them in the mouth. And the series is really going to come down to game 4, in my opinion. Who's going to take game 4? Is it going to come back to Vegas 2-2? Or is it going to come back to Vegas 3-1? That's what I predict. So, man, for a guy that doesn't know crap about hockey, I just put it all out there, didn't I?
Yeah. That's a good prediction. I mean, it definitely could happen. The crazy thing is Vegas started their 4th line against Florida's 1st line. So I agree and disagree with you when you say Florida was a fresher team. I think in the first period, Florida was a fresher team. And then for them having as many days off as they had, sweeping Carolina, and then Vegas going 6 games against Dallas, I felt like Vegas ended up, I guess not the fresh legs, but they had the momentum. They were in Vegas, they had the momentum, and they were down to play.
Exactly. So it was the question of, like we said, is it going to be the legs or momentum? And game 1 apparently was momentum. We'll see what happens here in game 2. I'm excited for it. I'm really... Look, I don't want to dog on the NBA too bad. I know Bo loves the NBA. Yeah, not my favorite. It doesn't do the best ratings. A little bit
too tall to play basketball.
Something. But it bums me out that the finals are going on right now because I believe that game 2 would be going on tonight if it wasn't for the NBA finals. But then again, it kind of prolongs the what we have left of NHL, which I'm excited for. But I wish there was a game. Bottom line, I wish there was a NHL Stanley Cup final game every night, right? How awesome would that be? Here's my other question for you. So the chippiness that we saw at the end of the game, there were some cheap shots. I don't know, again, the dudes, I don't know the names, but I saw one where old boy had his arms pinned back, right? By somebody, and then a dude from the other team. So, okay, I can't even remember. Okay, I want to say let's say a Florida player had his arms pinned back by a Vegas player, and then another Vegas player was in front of him. It was like, oh, cool, cheap shot, boom, right in the face, boy. And it could be the opposite of that. It could have been, you get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised to see that level of chippiness because of the fact that there's, and I don't know how you guys determine it, where that line is between we've got to, so to speak, punch them in the mouth, sometimes literally, versus, bro, don't get yourself kicked out for 1 or 2 games because that could be all it takes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what you've been in situations where you've been in playoff hockey, I believe you've won a championship or, you know, at least how many have you won?
Well, I won more than one, but the one that counted is when I played juniors. We won a championship and went to nationals and finished 3rd in nationals.
So, okay, there we go. So, you know, playoff hockey, you know, how do you determine that? Is that something you feel out in game 1? Is that something, do you know about the refs ahead of time and you know that this guy doesn't put up with anything or this guy kind of lets it go? Is it, and I'm sorry to prolong this, but is it, hey, the refs know this is the Stanley Cup finals, boy, we got to let them play, you know, basically let them take it to the line, maybe a little over the line, and maybe we didn't see it. You know, how do you do that?
I think you nailed it right there. It's the playoffs. The refs don't want to determine the game. So they're going to let you play. Like you said, to the line, maybe over the line a little bit, but as soon as you start getting stupid, they're going to get control of the game. And that's exactly what they did in game 1. It started getting a little out of hand. So what they do, they started giving 10-minute misconducts and just get out of the game. Game's almost over. Yep. You know, sorry, you're losing. Better luck next game. But they don't want to be the people that determine the game and you know, they want these guys to win on their own. So I think they do in playoffs a lot more in playoffs. They let a lot of stuff go. The regular season, I mean, it's kind of crappy. If you look at old time hockey compared to this new hockey, it's a completely different game. It's a much more finesse and speed game. Back in the day, it was headhunting, you know. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
changed. It's changed a lot to where the hookings and interference calls get called real quick. But come playoffs, man, they let them play. Obviously, each ref is different, but the guys know the refs pretty well and what's going to happen and how much crap they're going to put up with. And good example, Matt Kachuk. He's gonna test them every chance he gets,
Yeah.
and he's gonna go over that line. But that's what makes him part of who he is. That's what makes him how great of a player he is getting under the skin of other people and striving from it. So it's great to watch. I love playoff hockey. It's always more intense, and it just reminds me of old time hockey.
How much is there of the mental thing? Because okay, for one of the things that I love, way off subject here, UFC, right? The old Ultimate Fighting Championship. I love that stuff. A big part, at least for some guys, and of course the most notorious is Conor McGregor, is his mental game, of just playing with these guys' minds and getting under their skin. How much is there of that in hockey? Or is it, I mean, yeah, let me just put it out there like that. How much is there in that in hockey? Does it play that much?
So I think of it two ways. First way, you got to look. Most of these are kids, man. Like 20 years old to. I
That's
mean, if you're
valid.
30, if you're 30 in the NHL, you're old. So you got 20-year-old kids. So I think getting under their skin is a lot easier, but they've also been doing it their whole life. It's never been a thing where it's not happened in their careers. They're always getting chirped. They're always talking crap. So I think they're used to it, but you're on the big stage now. You got a lot more nerves. So I think probably you can get under some of these kids a little easier than say during the regular season. But then again, they could be thinking the same thing. Hey, man, this is a show. I'm going to let it go. I don't care what he says. I'm going to hoist that cup, and that'll be the ultimate. You know,
Yeah.
I won.
I,
So
I tell you what, these kids, and man, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm going to travel down a rabbit hole, probably lose my train of thought and never come back. But one of the things that really impressed me about Landon in gymnastics, and Aiden as well in his karate and martial arts, was the resiliency that they had. Like for instance, the easy one to talk about is gymnastics because there's multiple events and whatnot. If he'd have a bad event, like back in my day, if something went wrong, like that affected me for
yeah,
the rest of the football game or baseball game, or I was mentally just weak. But it just blew my mind how he could come back from uh, have a bad event or fall on an event and then just persevere
right.
through the rest of them and just exceed expectations, still win, still come out on top, or even when he didn't come out on top. It just blew my mind at that young of an age, and especially with this generation that we're like, man, oh my gosh, what kind of kids are
Yeah,
we raising these days? It has it's really impressed me, the level of resilience. Same with Aiden as well. Aiden is a sharp shooter, and dude, I got to send you some pictures from we
yeah.
went shooting yesterday. Holy cow,
See,
this kid is something special. But when we go out and shoot competition, he can have the wind blows a little bit different than when we calculated the wins, and he misses for an entire target set, but then he'll come back the next one and just nail it. I mean, just the resilience. So my point being, that long answer for a short bit, these guys, as you say, with this getting under the skin, these kids are pretty impressive, with what
yeah,
they can put up with.
yeah,
But likewise, if you're the guy that can back up your chirping, you know what I mean? One of the things about Conor McGregor is that, yeah, he chirps, but he also hurts. You know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah,
so if there's something to back up the chirping, I think that's a little bit easier to get under somebody's head. And it's
yeah.
a much different game than it used to be. It used to be, at least from what I recall, and it was, you know, you get your one good player and then you get your enforcer, right? You get your gold mine out there, your Wayne Gretzky, and then you get your Marty McSorley to go out there, and if anybody
Yeah.
touches Wayne, you know, Marty will knock your block off, and that's the way it was. And but yeah, it's much like, I guess, what we see with the NFL, which is, you know, we've got to protect players and also what sells, right? The goals sell. The 0-0 games that now, to those who've played, like for me in baseball, if I'm sitting and actually watching a 1-0 game, I can be thoroughly entertained if it's actually, you know, if there's strategy and whatnot going on. Just like I'm sure you with a 0-0 hockey game could be like, oh my gosh, and just totally impressed with what you see on the ice. But bottom line is goals sell. They know that, and they got to protect players. So yeah, they're letting them. It's just different game, just different game.
It is.
So
Yeah.
not to say that it's any worse or better. It's definitely still entertaining. I think they've done a heck of a job. So NFL as well, and you know, baseball's really trying, and I think doing some good things as well. Sometimes fight will boost your team's energy. Yes. Wally, good point. So your dad coming in to the comments with the old fight question, which, excuse me, I don't know why. Let me, Dave, okay, I'm going to call something up here. Talk to us about fighting in the game. What role does it play, and how has it changed over time from, like we talked about, the Marty McSorley, I'm going to flat out annihilate you, to what it is today? I mean, there's still fighting that happens. They let it go to an extent. I mean, you talk to us about it.
Fighting now in the NHL sucks. I'm not going to lie. You know, they implemented a rule, I want to say in 2016, that everybody that comes into the league now has to wear a half shield.
Yep.
Right? If you had it on before, or if you had no half shield prior to that, you were grandfathered in. So most everybody has a half shield on. And now if you take your helmet off, you get an extra game suspension. So a fight now.
What if it gets knocked off?
If it gets knocked off, that's different. But if you unstrap and take your helmet off, that's an automatic game suspension. You're literally punching somebody else's helmet. It's not like it used to be. I still think there's a time and a place for it. Unfortunately, you don't see that time or place very often anymore like you used to. I mean, back in the day, you know, a guy could say something that you didn't like and it was on. and those were some brawls, man. I mean, that was just straight punch into the face as fast and as hard as you could. The Trashers. Perfect example. AJ had it down, man. He knew what he liked about hockey. It was that era.
Yes.
And boy, did he do a swell job at manufacturing his team around that.
Dude, and then shout out AJ Galante and the Trashers. Those boys, that is my kind of hockey. That was pure entertainment, baby. Oh, man. They were fun to watch.
Genius. He knew exactly what he was doing, man. He did something that he knew people wanted to see. And then when he started to get in the crap, what'd he do? Okay, I'm going to win now. And he went out and won.
Let's get Rupper, baby. Let's go get Rupper and win this thing.
He grew all those people into loving the sport because they were going out and beating the crap out of each other. And now they're winning games. So now they're like, oh, this is sweet. The man's a genius.
Dude, it was beautiful to watch. Absolutely. And if you don't know what we're talking about, just shoot us a message. You've got our numbers, whatever, DM us, and we will send you the link to the Netflix special that if you have not seen, you absolutely have to see. It is must-watch TV, regardless if you're a hockey fan or not, regardless if you're a sports fan or not. Phenomenal. Oh, I can't say enough about it.
No.
So when your dad was out here for graduation, we sat on the couch and called that baby up. And I tell you what, that was my fifth, sixth, seventh time watching it. It was just as entertaining as first time. It's phenomenal.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
I
awesome.
might go watch that again right after this. What
All
time
right.
is it? You know.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, to
anyway,
answer your question, hockey and fighting, I still think there's a time and a place. Just unfortunately, it's not as good as it was.
yep.
But it does give the momentum swing. You know, a guy could go out and they could be down a goal or two and have a big fight and lights a fire under their team's butt, and they go out and score a couple goals. Next thing you know, they're back into the game. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a part of the game, and it's one of the best parts of the
I'm
game.
glad that it is still part of the game. You know, there was a concern there for a while. I guess it's an ever present concern of will it go away? Will it be taken away? I'm glad they at least let it be, at least exist for now. I mean, it does happen, and it is entertaining as all get out when it does happen.
Oh yeah.
Gosh. So I do have a question. Okay, if you unstrap your helmet, automatic game, add it into whatever.
Add it into whatever penalty.
Okay. What about gloves? You drop gloves, same thing?
So you drop your gloves, that's a different situation. So if you say you drop your gloves and the other guy doesn't drop his gloves, he doesn't want to fight, you keep trying to fight him, you can get an instigator penalty. You get an 2-minute instigation, 10-minute misconduct, and you're out of the game. You're done for the night. But if you both drop the gloves and square up, it's fair game. So basically, you can't just go jump somebody that hey, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fight you, and he doesn't want to fight. Um, Now, if say you guys drop the gloves and it gets broken up, or you don't get the chance to scrap before the refs break it up, or before something else happens, that's determination of the ref. He can give you a 5-minute for fighting because you dropped the gloves. The intention was there. Most of the time, you get a 2-minute roughing penalty,
Okay.
coincidental. So it's really on the discretion of the ref on that. But you know, you drop your mitts, usually they're going to get out of the way because they don't want to get punched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, awesome. Man, some good conversation tonight. Wally, I'm glad you brought up the fighting thing, man. That
Yeah.
we went
Attaboy,
down.
Pop.
Yeah, we went down a entertaining road there. Anything specific to look out for in game 2 coming up tomorrow? Is there do you predict it's going to be a high scoring? Is it going to be a goalie game? What are we talking? I know we already talked about who's going to win, but what do you predict for the style of game, if you will?
I say watch out for Matthew Kachuk.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Meaning, come on, give me a little more.
he's coming out grinding. He's coming out gritty. He's going to do what he needs to do to get his team back, you know, tying this series up. High scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I got 3-2 Florida.
Okay. I was going to say 2-2 going into overtime and then 3-2 for the win. But I'm
Yeah,
taking
3-2
Vegas. So, okay.
You know, it's funny because like I want Vegas to win in heart, but as soon as I saw Bobrovsky yesterday when they were announcing the players, I'm like, and I don't know if it's just I like Florida's jerseys. Like as soon as I saw Florida, I'm like, oh yeah, man, Florida.
Dude,
So I really don't care, but I mean, I think it would be cool for Vegas being the 6th year in the league, going to the Cup once already, the playoffs 5 out of 6 seasons. I just think it'd be cool for Vegas, and it's great for hockey and sports in general in Vegas. I mean, I know they got the Raiders. I
yeah,
believe they're getting the Athletics.
they're
You
getting
know,
the A's.
I think you know it's great for Vegas, but then again, Florida has been in the league longer, and they want it too. So I'm cool with either way. What up, Melba?
Hey, there's a sister. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
So good.
Yeah.
Hi, David.
Hi, sister.
He says hi, Melba. Hi, sister.
Mm-hmm.
We're so glad that let's see, duct tape, Melba, duct tape, mom, duct tape, Mary.
Duct tape queen.
Yes, the duct tape queen has stopped by. Everybody loves it when you stop by and at least make an appearance, especially me.
Hey, Hey, you got any smoke? You got any clouds up there?
He's waving the CO2 into the room.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that for
yeah, I didn't get that.
yeah,
part of what you said.
actually, you know what? We should bring her to the Tailgate podcast. She'll be the duct tape ice queen. There you go. That's what you are.
But then she has to
Super
leave.
excited for that.
The duct tape dry ice queen. Anyway, all right, love you, babe. She's the best. She's the absolute best. Oh, I'm glad she stopped by. Anyway, for those that don't know, that's that guy's sister. Whatever. Oh yeah, and I'm married to her. Yeah, geez. So now I'm all. Where were we? I don't know what
3-2 win.
Yeah, 3-2
Florida.
win. Florida something. Yeah, shoot. Well, that's what I've got for it. Do you have anything else that we should be watching out for that we need to talk about? No. Mention before we bail out of here.
No, man. I think, like I said earlier, Vegas has got to get guys in front of the net so Bobrovsky can't see the puck. That's I think their key to winning this series. If they don't, and he sees it, he's stopping it. So they got to keep crashing the net hard. And they did get burned on a couple plays, shorthanded. So they definitely need to get their power play together a little bit better. But in the long run, they came out with the win.
Yep.
And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how they win or how many they win by. They just need to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Just win, baby. Right? Okay. So that's what we were talking about. We were talking about Vegas. We're talking about who's going to win, who we want to see win. Florida Panthers. You like the jerseys. Vegas, etc. Vegas. I just, man, I don't know. I've just wanted Vegas to as well. I like the Cinderella story, if you will, of it, in that they're still a brand new team. I like seeing that happen. I love the fact that regardless of who wins, it's a new team. So, I mean, I'm good with either one. I'm picking Vegas. I'm rooting for Vegas, but I'm not going to be upset to see Florida, Bobrovsky specifically, win. Whatever, man. I mean, it's whoever hoists the cup, it is going to be cool to watch. And I tell you what, after a sporting event, for instance, okay, let's do the major three, right? You've got baseball, football, hockey. I know there's an argument about NBA, but for our purposes, our audience and us, those are the three: baseball, football, hockey. The presentation of the World Series trophy, I'd put that at
Last.
likelihood of watching out of the three. That's last. And I played baseball. I played professional baseball. Okay. Professional. Big air quotes on that. We could talk about that another time, another day. But yeah, professional baseball. So my sport growing up, my sport throughout life was baseball. However, that trophy, as awesome as it would be to win it, whatever. I'm not really watching that trophy presentation. The NFL trophy presentation, just because the Super Bowl is such a production. And I mean, the Super Bowl and everything about it is so magical, not to sound weird, but it's just amazing. The whole production, it is the biggest stage there is. And so, yeah, I watched that presentation also because it's the closing ceremonies, if you will, on what is the dominant sport in American culture. They said that baseball was America's pastime. It used to be. It is football. It is football, at least when it comes to that which we watch. Football is king. So yes, I absolutely watched the trophy presentation. However,
I do too. But
give me one
I think
more
it's-
sec. Give me one more sec.
yeah.
The Stanley Cup presentation is can't miss. Okay, if they're presenting the Lombardi Trophy and I gotta pee, I'll pause it. Okay, go pee, come back. Sorry, not to get personal. The Stanley Cup, baby. No. I'm not pausing that. I'm watching that live. That is the Stanley stinking cup. Okay, you go.
I agree with you on the baseball. Whatever. If it's on and I got nothing else to watch and it's there, I'm watching it. Okay.
Sure.
The popcorn's about to burn. I'm gonna grab the popcorn.
Yep.
The Lombardi Trophy. I hate it. The best part about the Lombardi Trophy is the confetti falling from the sky.
That's pretty
Why?
sweet.
Because they go to the owner and they go to the coaches
Yeah.
before they go to the players. Here's your trophy, owner. Here's your trophy, coach. The players. Give it to them first. Let them talk first. Then bring in the big guys. The Stanley Cup,
Okay.
I get goosebumps and tears in my eyes every time I see the Stanley Cup because it's always been a dream of mine. Like I would do anything to touch the Stanley Cup.
Dude.
But if I had the opportunity, I don't know that I would because I didn't earn it.
At this point, you're retired. Touch
Hard-
the stinking cup, bro.
Well, I don't know if I'd probably do a little more and touch it. But
Lifetime. I mean, not even once in a lifetime. That's like nobody gets that opportunity. Anyway, go ahead.
no.
Sorry.
And you get to the Stanley Cup, the players touch it first, and it's never I, it's we.
Yeah, that
We
is
did this.
very, very valid. Something I didn't think about.
You will never ever see a hockey player say I. It's
Okay.
always we. We did this. Look at every interview. I can't think of one interview where a hockey player said, "Oh, I had the opportunity, so I did this." Oh, I got a great pass from Barnesy over here. I dished it over there. We made a great play and we tucked it in the net. It's always we. I love it. Greatest
Hockey-
trophy in the whole world.
Oh my gosh, there is no question, in my opinion, that, well, no, not even in my opinion. There's no question, period. Stanley Cup is the greatest trophy in sports, all of sports. I'm including it in the you got the debate with the Europeans of oh my gosh, I'm being so disrespectful. What is the name of that? The FIFA, the World Cup. There we go, the World Cup. Sorry. I don't think anybody that watches soccer watches our program. So, you get it though. But yeah, there is no trophy greater than the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup, man. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, it gives. I'm just sitting here thinking about if I had the opportunity to touch the cup, but my I think a layer deeper on it. Because my thought is like, no, I would never have an opportunity to be anywhere near the cup. So the only opportunity I would have would be if I was like doing a tour of the locker room of the team that won the Stanley Cup. And the Stanley Cup would be like sitting back there behind the ropes, the velvet ropes. And so my question is, would it be worth it to just kind of go over those ropes real quick and get a touch? That's where my level of thought goes to, because I'm like, there's no way they'd ever let me touch the cup. But if I had an opportunity to legally, absolutely. And probably in some circumstances, maybe potentially illegally, theoretically,
sure.
hypothetically, or something. Wow. Okay, I guess this is the end of our program. So
Before we go, I want to give a shout out to my boy Chris Bailey. He's been a Vegas Knights fan since day one, and he is just ecstatic right now.
Heck
so
yeah.
Congratulations, Chris, on the Game 1 win. You earned it.
Soon to be Game 2 win. And of course, he's an avid watcher of our program. Every time.
He better be.
Yeah. Yep. Shoot, there was one other thing I was going to say. I cannot remember what it is now. Whatever. I think we'll be back eventually, so we'll talk about it then, whenever I remember what that is. But, dude, I love talking hockey. I love watching hockey. And I love hanging out and doing this with you. I thank you I know your schedule is crazy. And so to be able to make this happen, we kind of got to do it at the drop of a hat, which I know is not easy for you, especially when you've been gone all day and then doing chores the rest of the day. So I truly appreciate it. that you take the time out to do this. And I also thank you to your family, Jess, the kids, for letting you be there for a few minutes, half hour, however long we've been doing this. That's awesome. So I appreciate the support that they give you to let you do this. So
For sure.
shout out
Blast.
to them.
Love doing it.
Yeah. So we will be back tomorrow and the next day and the next day. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
We'll be back as soon as we can. But yeah, for that, we're going to get out of here. One quick note. We used to have a commercial which ran at, that was the other thing I was going to say. We used to have, this isn't the other thing I was going to say, but I'll get to the other thing. We used to have a commercial that ran at the end of our program for QB54, which is our sponsor, at least for our football portion of our programs. And they're amazing. They're outstanding. We love them and we appreciate them. We shot a commercial for them, which then we put at the end of our program, to promote our sponsor and say thank you for sponsoring us. Here's the commercial that we made. Anyway, we've been getting hit with copyright violations for playing our own commercial at the end of our own show. So that will no longer play. But it is out there on our social media, so be sure to check it out because we appreciate them. They are outstanding, awesome, amazing, which we're going to have a show eventually, supposedly, with the QB54 founder someday. So that's
QB54.
cool. Yes.
The game before the game.
Yes, there it is. You heard it here. By the way, we're also going to be giving one of these game sets away, which conveniently goes into the thing that I was going to talk about. That anyway, at the end of our credits, stick around. There's, at the end of our show, credits play, talk about the things. Stick around because there will be a slide after the credits, which has some information about a very exciting event we have coming up, at which we will be giving away one of these QB54 game sets. And again, you can check that out on our social media. But all right, not to prolong this any longer, brother, I love you. Any last shots before we get the heck out of here?
Nope.
All right.
I'm good.
Awesome. Let me start our outro music. You're the absolute best. We love you. We love you guys. And shoot, I guess we'll see you next time.